I didn't know it was a controversial take to tell Latinos to finish high school.
I didn't graduate high school.
You didn't?
I'm a super senior. Yeah, I didn't graduate high school. Because my senior year, I probably only went like 3 times. It's because I played smart.
A lot of people say they want to quit their 9 to 5 and have a freelancing lifestyle, but bro, this is way worse than a 9 to 5.
A TikToker named Juju is being called out for laughing at a street vendor that was just trying to sell her candy.
What?
Bro.
$4? Okay, Disney.
Everyone wants a Latina. Everyone wants to be with a Latina. A big booty Latina, a spicy Latina, a toxica, like all this shit. It's all of these stereotypical versions of what a Latina looks like, and it's not actually considering who these people are as people. And the cycle of over-sexualization, over-fetishization continues.
Where is the representation? Where is the substance? There is none. The fact is, most of them just happen to be Hispanic, and that's it. Instead, they go live on TikTok talking about drama.
The only time I get major views and go viral is when I'm talking about drama or something dumb. But the moment I talk about business or something like that, the views tank. It's frustrating for community activists and organizers who are actually trying to do cool things, but y'all are too busy worried about Shawty May and Wilito. Like,
I'm not a cheater. I don't cheat on men. They cheat on me. Like, deadass.
Hi, it's me, Salem, and welcome to my channel. I have something to tell you. The Hispanic influencer community is a mess. ASMR. Hello everybody, it is me, Salem, and welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing? I am feeling very excited because this week is the first week to Hispanic Heritage Month.
Mi gente latino.
Mi gente latino. I truly love my culture, but J-Lo's not part of it. Anyways, so for those of y'all who haven't noticed, I'm brown.
You're what?
I know. But more specifically, I'm Mexican, which I feel like should be pretty obvious because unfortunately, I give off the vibes that I'm a stereotypical Latina, when in reality, I'm on the spectrum, love Hatsune Miku and hate menudo. That alone, I feel like should get my Mexican card revoked. I'm Mexican, but I am not that Mexican to where I'm gonna eat lengua and brains. But yes, it is Hispanic Heritage Month, which is from September 15th all the way to October 15th. Giving gratitude and recognition to amazing Hispanic icons throughout history who have paved the way for the younger generations through art, music, food, inventions, and so much more. People like Cesar Chavez, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Selena Quintanilla, Guillermo del Toro, Pitbull, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, El Chavo, Pedro Pascal.
He said, "Mommy, I'm depressed." Then I said, "Don't do that, do something else."
Cesar Millan. And of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
We as Hispanics come from a long lineage of people who are artists, musicians, people to be celebrated. I wonder who is the next generation of artists, musicians, and great minds that will inspire the next young generations.
Wait. Guys, what if I travel with Eva's ID? Like, we have the same birthday, we have the same name, we have the same face? Do you guys think that'd work?
I thought it was fun. I like the beat. So, yeah.
Nowadays, we have representations such as Lalo.
Hey man, what I tell you about stuff like this? Man, I'm not your little gummy bear. Stop!
D-Kane.
You're kind of lucky I'm even talking to you right now. Usually I pay people to talk to me.
Did you just hear what he said? He said, usually I pay people to talk to me.
There is something wrong with the modern day Hispanic influencer community. And when I say that there's something wrong, I mean there's something really wrong. And I am not the only person who feels this way.
Anyways, I'm glad someone said something and that this video is going viral because I don't understand how people like Will2 or Shawty Bay have a fucking platform. They barely represent us. The most they fucking do is put a flag in their bio and that's it. What else do they do for us? And I don't expect most of them to be political activists because some of you are meant to be entertainers, not political activists. The fact is, some of them are second-generation immigrants. Hell, some of them barely speak Spanish themselves. And I'm not trying to shame them, because I barely speak the language fluently myself. But how are these people supposed to represent us if they're barely in touch with their roots? Instead, they go live on TikTok talking about drama, or they fucking go to JOP's pool party just so they can make a video with him and get some fucking views. Where is the representation? Where is the substance? There is none. The fact is, most of them just happen to be Hispanic, and that's it.
Because it actually irks my soul. I even have a pinned video about it on my page, so you know that I'm about what I talk about. And people be like, well, why don't you post about the issue? Girl, I do. The only time I get major views and go viral is when I'm talking about drama or something dumb. But the moment I talk about business or something like that, the views tank. It's frustrating for community activists and organizers who are actually trying to do cool things, but y'all are too busy worried about Shawty May and Wilito. Like,
the influencers that we make famous in our community are... I need some me vale madre tea. You guys stress me the hell out. I'm not trying to be the Mexican version of Candace Owens. I'm not trying to drag our community down. There is so much good in our community, but unfortunately, the people that we're making famous are contributing more bad to our community than good. Because unfortunately, these are content creators and influencers who don't speak up for our community. These are content creators and influencers who are promoting being uneducated, being toxic, or perpetuating negative stereotypes of Hispanics in the US. And look, no hate to people like Shawty Bay or the other people I mentioned in my video. At the end of the day, they are really funny and I truly love and want to support my people. But it's really hard to when it seems our community is constantly making the same type of people popular, which lacks in diversity. And our current representation in this community is contributing heavily to the problems that we see in young Hispanics every day nowadays. Having low self-esteem, not believing that they can become anything else other than a young parent or an influencer that eats hot Cheetos and dances to La Chona. And honestly, there's nothing inherently wrong with being like that either. I'm not gonna be up here and act like I'm better than y'all. Like, I love me my Red 40, some Bad Bunny, and all of that. However, I don't make it my defining traits, and it does get exhausting when our only representation is the same copy-paste influencer time and time again, whose only defining personality traits are those things. Like, can we come up with something else? Can we come up with something else? I know we can, they're just not given the opportunity to be different, because it seems like the definition of a proper Hispanic influencer has to fall into one of these categories. And honestly, that sucks, because our people and our culture are so much more than that. And the worst part is that a lot of these content creators and influencers and followers will get mad and upset at you when you want to call this toxic behavior out.
I didn't know it was a controversial take to tell Latinos to finish high school. And I'm not gonna apologize for telling people to finish high school because it's the bare minimum of what you should do. But I shouldn't have to tell you guys that I was deported by association in order to validate that saying Latinos should stay in school is not a bad take.
You're just being negative. Lighten up. If you care that much about society representation, then you're just too American. You're just too white. If you care about school, like, it's giving colonizer.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
And this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's video, because it needs to be stopped. And I have a special guest later on in this video to talk about it with me, to give you guys some chisme, you know. So grab your pan dulce, sit down, and let's have a chisme sesh. But before that, y'all know the drill. I gotta pay my bills. So here's a word from our first sponsor, ZocDoc. One thing that we need to start taking serious in the Hispanic community is our health. I swear almost everyone's moms have high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and still insist on drinking soda. And I know that sometimes it's really difficult to find a good doctor, but ZocDoc makes it very easy. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care, skin care, and so much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours, so you don't have to wait an entire year for your next doctor's appointment. I know I've been prioritizing my health this entire year, and you should too, and I know you know someone who should as well. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Salem to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Salem. ZocDoc.com/Salem. Thank you to Shopify for being our second sponsor. I love online shopping. I love buying little knickknacks, little bars of soap, K-pop keychains, and the secret ingredient to getting your product sold is a good website that helps you become super successful when selling your product online. And that is where Shopify comes in. Shopify is an e-commerce platform that helps businesses build and manage online stores and sell products in person and online. Home to the #1 checkout on the planet that boosts conversations up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going up. Shopify is a place to sell your products. So if you're barely growing your business, Shopify can help you grow your business to become even bigger, because businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Salem Tovar, all in lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Salem Tovar to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Salem Tovar. Part 1. Stereotypes, Sexualization, and Stagnation in the Hispanic influencer community. I am a Chicana, which means that my parents are from Mexico, but I was born here. Unfortunately, my dad is from Mexico City and my mom is from Michoacan, and I was born in San Jose. But then California got way too expensive, so we moved to Washington, and now I'm in the rain all the time, so yay. But you know what? I also live in the place where they filmed Coraline and Twilight, so it's a win-win. Growing up, I never felt Hispanic enough, and a big part of that is because I grew up in a cult, so I didn't really grow up around my culture. I grew up around what I call church culture. If you guys haven't watched my story, I highly recommend watching this video where I talk about my experience growing up. I wasn't allowed to watch novelas. I wasn't allowed to listen to Hispanic music. The only Hispanic artists I was allowed to listen to were people who made Hispanic worship music, which to this day slaps. I'm talking Marcos Witt, Jesus Adrian Romero, Jackie Velasquez, and the icon himself, Juan Luis Guerra. And I definitely was not allowed to watch the news or anything like that, which, to be fair, I don't even think I would watch it nowadays, because why do you have to look and dress like this in order to talk about how it's gonna rain? Yikes. But slowly getting out of the church community and into the real world, I still didn't feel like I belonged. I remember this one time I posted on my Instagram story this one trend that was popular on TikTok that was like, they hate when you serve neurodivergent baddie, and then it'll be like a bunch of characters that are supposedly a representation of that. I remember posting on my Instagram story something similar to that, but the prompt was, maybe in another universe I'm not serving off-putting weird Latina or something along those lines. And the characters used in these slides were people like Wednesday Addams, Aubrey Plaza in Parks and Recreation, or Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I got so many DMs of people saying, girl, be so for real, you can't relate. When literally that has been my experience since I was born. But simply because I look this way, people assume that they just think that I listen to Peso Pluma, eat hot chip and lie, and charge phone. Which, I mean, they're not wrong. I really do be eating hot chip, and I do be lying to myself every day, pretending that I'm happy when I'm not. When it comes to representation, I feel like there just isn't enough diversity within our own community. There's a lot of people whose content is just straight up being a caricature of what racist Americans think Hispanics are, which is loud, uneducated, or almost like a clown. Like, they really do be acting like we should be sepine up in this hole. I remember growing up with people like Alanized, Louis Life, and all of these people who genuinely I to this day still enjoy. But I remember there was talk even back then of how a lot of these content creators kind of pushed the stereotypes. Again, there's nothing wrong with this. There's literally nothing wrong with being just funny. Some people are meant to just be entertainers and be funny. I love the fact that in our culture, we are very happy people, and we're even able to find joy and happiness in hard times and tough situations. And our tenacious spirit as people definitely show in our modern day Hispanic influencers, where everyone's very humorous. However, there has been a hyper focus stereotypical content and never step outside of that stereotypical content, not even to talk about serious issues, in order to keep up the happy, we're not so serious, not everything is that serious laugh a little type of easygoing attitude. And even though this type of attitude can be good, unfortunately, it's made it so content creators who are Hispanic who do want to speak up on anything that isn't hot Cheeto related or cheating related or drama related, they're seen as the negative one. They're seen as the they're just not funny and lighthearted enough. Like, bro, why can't I also like Los Angeles Azules and care about climate change at the same time while eating the hot Cheetos? It's like the community makes it so that those two can't coexist. You are either a creator who fits the stereotype or you don't. And depending on which box you fit in, you are either going to get all the support or absolutely none. And guess who are the same type of people who get the most support time and time again? The ones who don't speak up or don't know how to balance the two. And it sucks because that's keeping us from progressing as people and enhancing our diversity even further on social media and using our big platforms for things that matter. And it's keeping us stagnant as a community. How is it that for the past decade where social media is at its biggest that it's ever been, where people can get millions and millions of views, thousands upon thousands of fans who watch them every day, somehow even with this, we've had the same copy paste Latino influencers representing us time and time again. It's almost as if you only have two options nowadays as a Hispanic creator, which is either make fun of yourself to entertain people, or people will make fun of you to entertain themselves. And one person that comes to mind immediately is Shadi Bay. She is a Hispanic influencer who has Bell's palsy, but none of her content has anything to do with her disability, as she just kind of embraces it and just does makeup tutorials and says stuff like this.
I'm not a cheater. I don't cheat on men. They cheat on me. Like, that
makes no sense. But point is, people are constantly making fun of the way that she looks, the way that her body looks, comparing her to Lady Glitter Sparkles from Trolls, paying for her OF just to make fun of her body. It's just really strange. People also make fun of the way that she mispronounces words and say that it's justified to make fun of her because they're like, well, Bell's palsy doesn't even affect your brain. But she has opened up about how she has a learning disability as well and how she was in special needs classes growing up. The response from the internet towards her has just been really weird. I'm not even gonna talk about how in the Hispanic community, even outside of the internet, treats people with special needs and disabilities and people who are on the spectrum or are neurodivergent with this really harsh attitude of no tiene nada, and they ignore it. You can see it in our community, even in the internet, how they treat Shadi Bay and how they labeled the conversation about her disability as chisme. Are you guys okay? It's giving chronically online, bro. And women influencers in the Hispanic community and non-influencers are only boxed into two categories. Either you make fun of them, you don't take them serious, or they're sexualized. And there is no in between. We already are so heavily sexualized that when they sexualize themselves, especially in a way where it's clearly giving into the stereotype of I'm #toxica or I'm spicy, that it affects other Hispanic creators online where they are also made out to be sexualized without even trying. Our community has gotten so toxic when it comes to the sexualization of women that unfortunately these influencers are pushing this agenda even further to the point where we have minors. Yes, minors, such as Esli on TikTok, who is constantly being sexualized. In her content is just her dancing, doing her makeup, or just being a kid. She is only 13 years old, and there are comments like this, and like this, and this. The way people obsess over this child on the internet is so strange, to the point where now it's like a meme to bombard her comments with, I wish my girl looked like you, from grown ass people. You wish your girl looked like a 12-year-old? Y'all are weird. Oh my gosh. And the worst part about all of this is that the women and the girlfriends and the wives, yes, wives of these older men commenting, I wish you looked like Esli, will comment stuff like, she's not even all that. Why are you comparing yourself to a 12-year-old? Does no one else see how crazy this is? If y'all don't put your man on a watch list or report him to the police, it's giving your uncle is coming over, so don't wear shorts around the house. But y'all don't want to talk about that in our community, huh? Even though it's a massive issue that a lot of women of color face. And it's so disheartening to see this happening to our younger generations. Which, first of all, she shouldn't even have a TikTok if she's a minor, but even if she is on TikTok, it sucks that the older generations of Latina influencers and content creators give into the sexualization to the point where it's gonna start affecting the younger Latina generation and how they're perceived online and in the real world. I was only 12 years old. 12 years old when I was starting to be sexualized. I was being told, don't wear this, don't wear that, because you're shaped different and the way that you're shaped is bad. Even though I literally was a child and looked like a child, I get a little emotional about it. In middle school, my assigned seating was by a bunch of male students, and these male students would constantly verbally sexually harass me. I was sexually harassed in school many times, and I remember one of the boys in this classroom in front of my teacher, who did nothing, by the way, about this, literally told me, when you grow up, you should consider doing corn. And I'm not saying the actual word because I'm not trying to get demonetized, but basically, I didn't even know what that was. Again, I was fresh out of church. I was super innocent. I had no idea what they were telling me, but I didn't understand until I got older. Like, why do people treat me like I'm just this stupid bimbo sex doll? Get sexualized like crazy. So it's insanely discouraging when I see people try to capitalize on that. And I understand that some people might view it as taking back their power or using it as a power move. And I'm all for that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, like, get your coin, sis. But we do have to keep in mind that there are kids looking up to you. And it can make this problem that we have in our community a million times worse. When I look at Esley, she just looks like a little kid, and it breaks my heart that she's seen DMs and messages of people being really creepy towards her, especially from grown men. And I find it really strange that no one who is big in the Hispanic content creator community right now is defending Esley or telling people to leave her alone or speaking out or bringing awareness to this major problem that we face and that our younger generation of Hispanic women are facing, because they're so busy themselves giving into the toxica spicy stereotypes. They're busy chismeando on TikTok live, involved in drama and promoting stuff like not going to school instead. And it continues to perpetuate the stereotype that Hispanics aren't smart. And the same influencer who is making fun of the paletero has also said stuff about not going to school and how it's funny.
I didn't graduate high school.
You didn't?
I'm a super senior. Yeah, I didn't graduate high school. So my dad's more kind of, he hates when I go out because he's like, dude, like, focus on school, like, get your diploma and stuff like that. But I don't know.
¿Pero por qué no te graduaste de high school?
Because my senior year, I probably only went like 3 times. It's because I play smart.
See, I'm telling you, I have the mind of a master. I have the mind of a mastermind. What's that? I don't know, but I'm so creative like that.
Like, I am genuinely shocked. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Our graduation rates as Hispanics is so low because our culture normalizes getting pregnant before graduation, or our culture parentifies children to the point where they can't prioritize their education because they're busy being a mini parent to their younger siblings because their own parents don't want to parent. It's just so messy. For those of y'all who don't know, I have a degree in education and communication. I went to school to become an elementary school teacher, and education is something that is absolutely huge for me. Every single young Hispanic person I talk to, I always encourage them, do Cascadia, do Running Start, do anything, because our parents didn't come here for nothing. It's embarrassing that we have this type of representation that is discouraging our younger generation from seeking higher education. But can we blame them when we have people literally telling them not to go to school or making it like a fun little joke? It's not funny and it's not a joke. And the worst part is when you call this out, people get angry at you. My sister is Penny Tovar, and she makes registered nurse content on TikTok. She is an educated girl boss and mother, okay? And she made a TikTok that went semi-viral literally about this topic that I'm talking about.
We are not going to normalize being a high school dropout. Absolutely not.
I've been waiting to talk about this because Latinos have some of the highest high school dropout rates in our nation, which really confuses me because we really pride ourselves in being trabajadores. But when it comes to education, for some reason, people just like to poop all over it. And it really confuses me too because, like, I really feel like that's a massive slap in the face to your parents. I owed it to my parents to at least try my best that I could to take advantage of the education here. I'm a first-generation graduate because I grew up hella poor, okay? My children, my future children, they're gonna live in a completely different social class than the one that I grew up in, because I took advantage of the resources of education in this country. And there are so many resources out there for first generation graduates, and it's just we cannot talk about the barriers of generational poverty in our community and in the same breath crap all over education.
This is why us as Hispanics don't progress in society. And this is also why we don't progress in the influencer community either. But it seems like you guys just won't listen to me. So I think I need to have another person join me in today's video to talk more about it.
Sorry, it's because I'm allergic to low crack.
Part 2. The importance of education and representation in the Hispanic community, and how all of y'all need to start taking it seriously.
Also, if you hear jingling, that's my child.
Not jingling.
Yeah, it's jingling.
Alright guys, hello. I am here with my sister. We'll call her when your parents make your genes deformed. So I'm here with my sister Penny once again. If y'all remember her, she was part of my cult video. If you guys haven't seen that, go give it a watch. I was telling you how I wanted to make a video basically
Everything's really sad and horrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You already know the tea, because this is a conversation that we've been having for such a long time. Just the Hispanic influencer community in particular, the influencer content creator side is a mess. There's a TikTok that went viral in that community of an influencer named Juju, which apparently she has like almost 2 million followers. What do I have to do? All I have to do is that.
Basically, well, obviously I have to play it smart.
Oh, you're right. I play it like smart or whatever.
Yeah, you're supposed to play smart.
She pulled the Nikocado 2 steps behind. I'm always 2 steps behind.
You know what? Get that out. I'm not trying to get no problems.
Y'all, it's a joke. It's a joke. No, she went viral because of her saying that she never went to school, she never graduated or whatever. And your TikTok went viral. So that's why I wanted to include you in my video, because I know you have a lot to say in this aspect.
Yes, I have a lot to say. A lot. First point that I want to make is this. It's actually not a mess. It only seems like a mess because for some reason we as a collective, not me, but I mean the collective.
Not me, you.
The only reason it seems like a mess is because these people have a platform to begin with. I can tell you right now, 5 creators that I personally follow that are not a mess. I literally follow a Mexican American first gen Latina doctor. So there are creators out there that are great representation and doing amazing things, you know. And no más, I think it's no más no to make the blanket statement that it's a mess. I would say only if we make it a mess. We are the ones choosing who gets platformed. So we as a collective need to do better. I stitched somebody's stitch of that video.
Okay, so it was a stitch within a stitch within a stitch.
Exactly, yeah.
Lilo and Stitch.
Basically in that video, I talked about my own personal experience as an educator. I'm a registered nurse, but I'm also an applied medical science educator and program director. So I work with high school students in applied medical science. I believe 1 in 5 students are Latino in our program. So it's a pretty good amount. And something that I have seen and I have noticed time and time again is a similar attitude to this girl that was on this podcast. I don't know her. I don't know what she does, but clearly she has a big following. And I think that's what more people had a problem with, that she was kind of almost bragging how she was able to get away with
skipping classes and all this stuff.
Yeah, it was just, it's a little sad because it's an attitude that I do see quite a lot among our students. This attitude almost like, oh, I'm not gonna try, why would I try? And honestly, I would argue that stems from internalized racism, honestly, because we internalize these beliefs that us as Latinos, we're not worth the value, we're not worth the investment. For a while, I had that attitude too. Like, I was a stoner in high school. I was skipping class. I didn't care. I wasn't trying in my classes.
I was just depressed in my room watching anime, so. But still, I had like the same experience, you know? I think we both shared the experience of like, oh, college, that's like a white people thing. Yeah. That's not something that we do. Even though no one told us that.
No, but you kind of internalize the idea. You internalize this idea that we don't belong in that space. You know, we othered ourselves before even giving ourselves a chance. So I had like a 2.3 GPA, something like that. And then it wasn't until my senior year of high school that I took my education more seriously. And to my surprise, I became a 4.0 student. And I graduated with highest honors in the top 10% of my class. Me going from this stoner high schooler to a person top 10% of the class. What happened there? What's that? It was a mind shift. I had this internalized belief that, oh, I'm dumb. I'm too dumb. Why try? Who cares? I'll figure it out, whatever. To, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to push myself and see how far I can go. What am I capable of? I've never even given myself that chance. It's hard to be your own role model.
And seeing you being able to do that shift my mind. And so that's when I started to join Running Start, which is a dual enrollment program where you go to high school and take college classes. And I was on the track to graduate early, actually. And during my time there, I was granted the Clark Foundation scholarship. And it's just crazy because I never thought that as a Latina, I could do it. So to see that representation in media more often, I know would help so many people. But when our representation is people
bragging about not completing education, yes. I think a lot of what we are seeing on social media and all this among these very young, like first-gen Latinos, there is this really tangible, thick sense of cultural identity loss. I feel so disconnected to my cultural identity. So to feel connected to my cultural identity, I'm gonna go with this majority that I'm consuming, right? Which is, again, the hot Cheetos,
Buzz Bombs,
things like, yeah, which obviously there's nothing wrong with hot Cheetos. Even though the ones from the 90s hit way better, it was way different. I don't know what's up with these new hot Cheetos. These are not normal hot Cheetos.
Same with Takis. Ever since they got sued for being too spicy, they ruined it.
That was not one of us who did that.
No.
Yeah. All I'm saying, they gravitate more towards these things that they see represented on a large scale on social media. Exactly. It's almost like a caricature.
It's weird.
It's almost like a caricature for sure, because then people like internalize this caricature of what it means to be Latino, and then if somebody else doesn't match this caricature, pues no eres mexicana. And it's like, like, bro, touch some grass. One person tried telling me that because I listen to metal, I'm not Mexican. And I was like, you've never been to the DF.
It's kind of like, also, I've got that a lot but because of our names. First of all, my name is in Arabic roots. Our real name's Benyen Salem. I remember this one time I went to go with my husband at the time was my boyfriend and his group of friends. We were gonna go paintballing and we had to sign waivers. And everyone in our church group has like traditionalistic Hispanic names like Brian, Nicole, or Jenny. Like they always have those types of names, right? And when it came to read out my name, he was like, Salem. Looked at me, he's like, that's not Mexican. Did he think that my name was gonna be Guadalupe? Like, I don't, what?
So, you know what, Cletus? Mind your own business.
No, Cletus.
Check my name off and let's get through with the program.
Ketchup or mustard? That's what it was giving. It was giving that. It's just like social media has really warped our minds of what a Latino or Latina person should be into and look like aesthetically, like hobby-wise and all that stuff. And we're so much more diverse than that. And to have this narrative of like, well, if you watch Attack on Titan, you're not Mexican. It's like, what?
All of Latino America is collectivist. That means that there's a heavy value of we over me. The more generations of Latinos that are born and raised in the US, they have more depression, more anxiety, more feelings of isolation, and cultural identity loss.
The more that we kind of leave our traditionalistic collectivist cultures for individualism literally makes you miserable. I think with this mixture of social media, it's made the individualistic culture even stronger.
Exactly. Individualism is me over we. Hence why this like energy, this vibe of me, I'm real Mexican, I'm real Latina, you're not. Actually, you're kind of perpetuating the cycle by acting that way. You're perpetuating the cycle of individualism and all those things, but I don't think they're even aware of it. So ultimately, I just feel like it's a big cry out for community. And ironically, we are causing more dissension among the community by doing that. The way I approach it, it's not me wanting to create more dissension of like, look at them and then look at us. That's not what it is.
Right.
It's more so of wanting that better representation and being more responsible with who we platform. If we want to be perceived as people of value, that our voices matter, that our work matters, that Latinos are the backbone of food in this country, literally planting food, harvesting food, cooking food, serving the food, you know what I mean? We just become blurry brown faces. And that is so sad.
There is a huge separation between our parents, our ancestors, and like us, where there's just like this tone deafness of like not caring.
Immigrant parents already suffer enough humiliation and exploitation as it is. So that's insane to me. But apart from that, it's this disconnect both culturally and generationally, right? Our parents were born in the 70s. There was already that generational disconnect, right? Because they're from the 70s, we're from the 90s, we grew up differently. So then the kids that are born and raised in the US, a lot of the parents que son Latinos, they'll be like, no entiendo. Hijo, ¿por qué? No entiendo por qué haces esas cosas, por qué dices eso, por qué andas llorando. There's always, you know what I mean? There's that disconnect.
Tienes comida. All I know is that diversity is just extremely important, even within our own community, which is intellectual diversity, artistic diversity, neurodivergent diversity, just all these types of things. Yeah.
But we're the ones that need to go out of our way to deconstruct those caricatures, and it's up to us to platform people, because there's tons of people that shed lights on different things, and they're out there, they're making content.
And I think just the cure to finding more diversity in our community, it just comes with acceptance of alternative Latinos, Latinos in different educational areas, neurodivergent Latinos, and all of that.
One thing I want to make super clear, there's nothing wrong with liking things that are stereotypes.
Right.
But I love Chihuahuas. My dog is a Chihuahua. I love Chihuahua. I love corridos. I love chamoy. I love tajin. You know what I mean? I love going to quinces. You know what I mean?
And I mean, even the people like Itati and stuff like that are funny as hell. Like, let's just be for real.
Like the video cuando estaba comiendo la sopa. Like, bro, I eat caldo like that too. So.
And let's be honest, we put chile and limon on everything. Like, we get it, okay?
But there's a big difference between, you know, living out the culture that you grew up with and that you love and that makes you feel at home, and then playing into this caricature that prevents us from advancing as a people. You know, you can have both. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm in the break room of a hospital eating my ceviche. You know what I mean? There's a balance. And I think that was something that I had to learn too. Growing up, I did play heavily into this caricature because I wanted to feel that cultural connection. But now that I'm an adult, I understand that it's all about balance and what it feels like for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Final part.
There's a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of stereotypes that prevent us from truly accepting ourselves the way that we are. The way that influencers impact how we view the community is crazy, because now it's like there's only one way of being Hispanic, and it really does exclude so many other types of people out there in our community. And the thing that sucks is that you see this type of thinking within our own community, as if we're not already excluded by simply having a different culture or being a different skin color. You would expect being excluded by other cultures. That's just how it is. But it sucks when the exclusion and the gatekeeping comes from your own community. It's been so hard to accept the fact that I am a Latina who is neurodivergent, because the way people approach me is just so vastly different than who I am, to the point where I have met people in high places who are also Hispanic that have prevented me from fully accepting who I am and helping other people accept themselves as well. I will never forget this one time. I attended this Latino education event. I talked to a person who is part of a really big program for Latinos, and I was talking to them about how I would love to get involved and talk to people about mental health and everything. And this person was just not wanting to hear me out, and instead they looked at me and was like, oh, well, you know, we have space for you to like teach the makeup. But there's a special type of sting to it when it's someone inside our community. And I left that community meeting feeling like I wasn't enough, even though I know I am enough and I am valid. And I never want people to feel that way inside or outside of our community. So if you're watching this, and if you are Hispanic, Latina, Latino, or not, I just want to let you know your existence is valid. You can be alt and Latino. You can pursue an education. Forget what society has taught you, that you're not smart enough because si se puede and you're smart enough. You are deserving of more than just being a parent at like 16. You can be Hispanic and be on the autism spectrum. You can be Hispanic and love hot Cheetos and jaripeos. You can be someone who was never taught the language and wants to learn and still be part of the community. We come in all different shapes, sizes, hobbies, aesthetics. We need more of that representation.
Whether it is online or in person, we have to stick together as a people and encourage one another to be our true and authentic selves and give each other opportunity in both social media and real life to have the space to safely practice being ourselves, especially in a world that expects us to act a certain way, to look a certain way, and to be into certain things that are stereotypical. And we 100% should not be expecting that from each other within our own community. That is what is going to keep us stagnant. We should be embracing the diversity within our own community. And even if you are basic or stereotypical or whatever, there's honestly nothing wrong with that. But just know that your defining traits should be who you are and what makes you special. And if you don't know what that is, invest in yourself. Try new things. Your potential is limitless. And if no one has ever told you in your life, I'm really proud of you, mija. Keep striving for greatness. When you step into a room, I want people to know who you are and what you're about. And for those of you in higher places who are meant to represent Latinos in social media and out of social media, give other people opportunity in our community, even if they don't match your definition of what a Latina or Latino is supposed to be. It's time to stop excluding, gatekeeping, and making fun of each other. And it's time to start uplifting one another, inspiring one another, being there for one another. It's time to find balance. There is so much more to us than copy-paste Latina makeup or TikTok drama. And even if you are a copy-paste Latina or a Latina that doesn't look like a stereotypical influencer and has more native traits and is just as beautiful, there is so much more that we can offer. But if our own people keep categorizing us by the basis of how we look and what we're into, if we're neurodivergent, if you know fluent Spanish, if you're a quote-unquote no sabo kid, and dismissing us based on that, we will never progress as people. It's time to look beyond the surface and start getting to know each other and giving each other the opportunity to dig a little deeper.
Look guys, I get it. I also love the chisme, okay? I love the drama. So I don't blame people for following people like Shawty Bay and Wilito and all these people. 'Cause at the end of the day, our people love to have fun. We love to make jokes of everything. We like to take nothing serious because we truly are a happy people. However, give us more options. We need more people to start encouraging the younger generations to stay in school, to believe in themselves, to feel validated if they feel away from their culture. But at the end of the day, that is up to you. Who you follow, who you interact with. We get to decide who represents us. So just choose wisely. And I know we are so much more than hot Cheeto and La Chancla memes. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched the entire thing, comment down a duck emoji down below so I know that you watched the entire thing. And if you watched the entire thing, that means I love you and you win an internet hug. Here you go, internet hug. Remember to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload. Comment down below what your opinion is on the Hispanic influencer community, or if you're in a different community, are there similarities that you see in your community? Let me know down below. And remember, y'all are allowed to disagree. Just keep it cute, keep it cordial, or else I'm gonna block you. I block people, and I have no shame with it. If you guys want to follow my sister Penny on her Instagram, you can follow her right here. She makes really cool content. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram. You can find her wherever at Penny Tovar. You guys can also follow me on my Instagram or TikTok at _Salem Tovar _. I promise I'm gonna be uploading there more. And honestly, that's about it. Y'all know that I give you guys homework at the end of every single video. So the only homework assignment I have for you guys today, listen to some Peso Pluma, watch some anime, eat hashiros, don't eat hashiros. Whatever it is you choose to do today, just make sure that it counts. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.